Hey guys, this is Aman Sharma, co-founder of FlowScale AI. In this video, I'm going to be walking you through a product that me and my team has built. If you are a ComfyUI workflow builder or an artist who has faced challenges while collaborating with your team to build ComfyUI workflows, and especially to use those workflows as scalable backends for building AI application and agents, then my friend, this video is for you. The product that we have built is called FlowScale Hub, and it solves a lot of issues and makes your life a lot simpler in collaborating with your team using the ComfyUI workflows as scalable backends. So let's dig into this. So before we start, I want to share with you some of my own problems and especially the problems that me and my team had faced before we started FlowScale Hub. Before we used to collaborate like this, what you're seeing on the screen, through WhatsApp, Slack, we used to share weird named workflows, JSON files to each other. And this is how I used to store those workflows locally. Now you can see product BG change. All these workflows are product BG change, and all of those workflows are basically one workflow. Even I don't know which one was the final workflow. These are all just different iterations of the same workflow. So this was a big issue. Apart from this, another big issue was the traceability issue, that nobody knew who made what change and what is sort of screwing up the end output. So for example, there was an instance we were building a workflow, a fashion related workflow, and we were going in a good direction. And all of a sudden, the output started to change a little bit. You can see a lot of hallucinations happening here, right? So we did not know what exactly caused those issues. It took us like hours to figure out which metric had changed. There was a CFG scale change or a base model change. That was very hard to figure out in a complex workflow, right? So it took us a lot of time to figure this out. Apart from this, using local GPUs was never enough. We had to like figure our way out, set up infrastructure and on cloud, and sort of use cloud GPUs, because the complex workflows does not work on your local machines. Even you know that, right? So for example, video processing tasks, there was an instance when we had to generate a 3-minute video with animate diff, and it took us 8 hours, and the video was not even that good, right? So that was not worth it at all. Apart from this, one famous line that we had internally, it's working on my end. So this was a very usual occurrence, that a team member says that the workflow is working on their end, but when they start setting up the same workflow on someone else's machine, it starts to break, and dependencies issues are always there, especially the Python dependency issues. So setting up workflows on different machines is a whole big another nightmare. Apart from this, once you have built the workflow, now you realize that you have built something that is so robust, so complex. You want to use that as a backend. So it's doable for a developer to go and find the official API of ComfyUI and build a scalable backend on top of it. But even for a developer, it's quite some effort. And talking about the people who are not that technically savvy, it's a whole big of a problem, right? So using workflows as backend is a big problem, right? Another thing is every time a designer builds a workflow, he goes to a developer, the developer deploys the workflow, makes some changes to the code, and then comes back to the designer, and this iteration goes back and forth. There's no one-click solution out there that even a designer can use to deploy a workflow as either a shareable user interface or as an API as well, right? So all of these issues combined, we realized that the current process of using ComfyUI is good, but it's not the best, especially for people who are not that technically savvy, and they want to do a whole lot more with ComfyUI workflows, right? So keeping those things in mind, we started building FlowScale Hub, and I'm going to be walking you through what FlowScale Hub is. So let's dig into this. So what you're seeing in front of yourself is the FlowScale Hub platform, and this is the first page you will be landing on. So you'll have to click on Get Started. You will have to log in or sign up through GitHub. If you don't know what GitHub is a platform where developers collaborate with their team to develop code, and we are using GitHub's powers to sort of organize the structure of storing and collaborating with team members in building ComfyUI workflows especially. So for this you need to have a GitHub account. I will simply log in with GitHub since I already have an account. Now this page is the repositories page. What you are seeing here is the list of repositories that I already have. What a repository is simply a project think of it as a project. These are workflow repositories that also exist on my GitHub profile and are also existing here. So you can create a new repository through this button, and also if you already have a repository, you can import those repositories. For this, I will be creating a new repository. So I'll create a repository. Let's say I am a AI artist or a designer, and I'm working for a client, let's say Acme Corp. Workflows. I'll name this repository ComfyUI workflows for Acme Corp client. And this is the visibility button. So if you want to keep your repositories public, you can also do that by switching it to public. So if your repository is public, anybody can come to your GitHub profile and sort of see that repository, even import that repository if needed. And in this case, we want to keep it, let's say, private. Nobody will be able to see. I want to do my work in private. So I'll keep that as private. Then I'll click on create. This will create all the necessary files. Basically, this is setting up my repository on GitHub. So in a way, your project is being prepared right now. So as you can see, the repository has been created, Acme Corp workflows. I'll open this repository. You can also go and visit this repository on GitHub. You can see the repository has been set up here with the necessary files which are being used by the platform. So I'll come back to the platform. So Acme Corp workflows, I'll just open this. The first page you will see is the workflow files page. This is the place where all your folders and the structure of workflows you can sort of manage over here. But I will be starting from something called as workspaces. So what is a workspace? Now consider a workspace as nothing but a machine that you're setting up for you to use to run ComfyUI on cloud GPUs. And for cloud GPUs, we use something that is called as modal.com. So you will also have to sign up on modal.com and set it up with FlowScale Hub. I'll show you how to do that. So for this use case, I will simply first create a new workspace. And while I create a new workspace, it is asking me to go to settings and set up the modal credentials here. For this, I will have to go to modal.com and I will go into the dashboard since I'm already signed up. After you go to the dashboard, you have to click on this profile button, click on settings. Then you have to click on API tokens. And since I already have an API token created, I can simply use that. If not, you can also create a new API token. When you click on new token, you will see this section, token ID, and you can select this area and copy this here. Then you can go and scroll a little bit further here and you will see token secret, then AS hyphen this area. You can copy this and set it up here. And then you have to select the GPU type that you will be using. So I will select the GPU type. I will select for our use case, I will simply select T4. This is the lowest end GPU. You can even go till H100, which is the highest end GPU that Modal provides. So for this case, I will just do that and save changes. I will simply come back and click on workspaces. Now I'll create a new workspace. I will name this as Aman's workspace. Since I'm creating this for myself, different team members can create different workspaces. For now, we only allow one workspace to be created since we are in a beta. So now that the workspace is created, I'll quickly just click on start. So the workspace is starting right now. It is being set up on Modal. You can even click on view logs. If you're interested, you can come here and see the logs that are being streamed directly from Modal. So you can see that the workspace is now fully set up and deployed on Modal, and you can simply open it up from here. So you can see that the default ComfyUI is now visible in front of you. You can build anything here. You can simply install models and custom nodes like you usually do with ComfyUI Manager in order to build any workflow here. So in this case, we will be using a workflow that I already have. This is a workflow that we built a few months ago. And simply what I'm going to be doing here is this workflow, let's say I fully built this workflow and finalized this workflow. What I want to do now is I want to deploy this workflow as a backend, and I want to get the APIs and a shareable UI for this. So what this workflow does at its core is it takes an input image of a model, fashion model, and it sort of replaces the background and the face of that model based on the prompt. So I'll just simply click on settings, enable dev mode options, and click on save API format, and then simply save the API. So this is the API format of the workflow which is needed to deploy the workflow. Then I'll go back. I'll simply, since I don't need this workspace anymore, I'll stop this workspace, and it is now stopped. Now that we have a API JSON ready with us, we will go back to the workflow files. I will create a new workflow. I will browse for the file. I will use an API JSON. I will name it as fashion model background change, and I need to put it in a folder, so I will name that folder as fashion, and I will click on upload. So once I upload a workflow, this is a pop-up that comes in front of me, which is a pop-up that is required to set up input and output configuration. What do I mean by that? In a workflow, we have load image and different nodes as an input nodes, and we have save image, save text file as different output nodes. You have to select those nodes here in order for us to sort of set up the API and a shareable user interface at the end of the deployment that you can simply share with people in your team or on social media, anywhere, right? So I'll simply select load image first, load image. Now this is my input image. I will give this label here. I will select the positive prompt. This was my positive prompt. I verified that. I will name it as positive prompt. And then I will select the output image, which is the save image. Call it as output image. And once I've done this, I will simply save this. So this is the workflow that we have just uploaded. If you later on want to come and again set up that input output configuration, you can simply click on this button. If you want to download the workflow, you can click. If you want to update the workflow, you can click on this button and upload another iteration. So you can see in this fashion, there is one place to store all your workflows. You don't need to go and put weird namings of different workflows. If you want to delete it, you can simply delete this workflow. And if you want to add more workflows under the same folder, you can use this button. And if you want to create new folders, you can use this button. So amazing. So let's start the deployment process. You can see this workflow is ready to be deployed. I'll just click on deploy here. So as you can see, the deployment is starting right now. And what will happen here is the backend of FlowScale Hub goes and checks your workflows, processes it, and finds out all the models and all the custom nodes that are being used in that workflow from all the publicly available resources like Civit AI and everything, and then give it in a proper structured format for you to review and finalize all these models and custom nodes are correct or not. You will, in some small time, you will see all those workflow, all the models and the custom nodes being listed out here in a dialog box. So what you're seeing in front of you is what we call as deployment dependencies model. And what you're seeing here is all the model files that the backend of FlowScale has found in your workflow, and also the custom nodes. So what I have to do here is just confirm if these are the right links, download links. I can simply open and select which one is the correct download link. And also we have the ComfyUI path listed here. And then we have all the custom nodes listed here. And we have to just verify if these nodes are coming from the same custom node. And all of this seems correct to me, so I will just click on continue deployment. Now this will initiate another deployment, and it has saved all the models and custom nodes on GitHub so that you don't have to go through the same process again. This will just initiate the deployment the next time. So imagine if you have multiple models and custom nodes and with multiple workflows, you can just click on deploy the next time and the whole repository will be set up. This is the way you can share your work across your team members, and they can simply just click on deploy or start a workspace, and every node and every model that needs to be installed will already be installed, and you don't have to worry about setting up everything again from scratch. Now meanwhile this is getting deployed, I also want to show you something else. I will go to settings tab, and then in the repositories section you can see all the models and custom nodes are already selected and saved here, which I just told you about. Apart from this, you can click on advanced settings and provide the pip dependencies. These are the Python dependencies, and you can also provide Linux dependencies. For example, some nodes like reactor nodes require you to install insight face, and on X runtime there is another dependency. So you can just provide that here, and you don't have to go through this process again and again every time, and especially these things are usually forgotten, and people sort of fall into a rabbit hole of figuring out what exactly is going wrong, why am I not able to set up this node, right? So you can just set it up once and forget about it. The next time anybody who is using it, they can just again click on import and deploy. You can also open this, and again you can see the logs. So what you're seeing here is the API documentation is also ready. You can click on this, maybe give it to a developer. They can simply open this up and use the APIs according to how it is being presented here. All these APIs, you can simply use upload APIs to upload the image or a video according to this documentation, and you can trigger the generation through this API, and you can fetch the output from the generation through this API, and you can also use this API for getting the queue of ComfyUI, right? And apart from this, what you're seeing is this Gradio URLs. These are the shareable user interfaces that you can simply share across your friend circle anywhere. So this link, when I open this up, now you can see that an interface has been prepared over here. If you remember, we selected as one input image as an input and one text as an input, and there was another output image. So we will just simply select an image here. I will simply select one image. This is my co-founder Vishnu, and I will simply give it a prompt. Let's say Korean man sitting in a French cafe, and I will click on submit. Now you can see the running part has become 1. What that means is there is one job running on the ComfyUI server right now. So multiple people, when they will be using it, there will be one running job and multiple pending jobs, just like how you see on ComfyUI. So as you can see, the output is ready over here. This is the way you can sort of use the shareable user interfaces to use the workflow without even opening ComfyUI. Now let's go back to the platform again, and let's go to the runs tab. So you can see over here there is a completed run. Now this is where you can find all the outputs that you have generated in that run. This is the only thing that we are storing in our database. Apart from this, everything is being stored on GitHub so that it's easily shareable as a repository, and you can simply share that project repository to anyone and they can just simply set everything up. Just one final thing which I want to also showcase is, let's say in your team you are working and there is a new iteration of the workflow that I have just put here. So I will just simply upload that new iteration over here. I will just simply select the new iteration, upload that, and again it asks me to sort of set up configuration, so I will just quickly do that again. And once that is done, what I want to do is I want to go to GitHub, open this repository, go to this commits section, and I want to open this update workflow API JSON. This is the last change that happened, and I can simply see what all changes are made in the workflow. And you can simply notice the exact small changes that are also made here. So for example, in the previous one, we had case sampling steps as 14. In this one, we have it as 20. And this is how you can trace which changes happened when and who made those changes. So this is what FlowScale Hub can help you with. Right now, we are in a closed beta, and we are accepting people in our waitlist and in our community. So do visit our website, flowscale.ai, and please join into the waitlist by clicking on Get Early Access. You will be asked to fill a form that you'll have to fill out, and you will also be given access to the tool after that. Apart from that, please join in our Discord, where our community exists, and we are heavily building every day. So we would love to get your opinions and insights. Apart from this, right now, whoever joins into the waitlist will also be enrolled into the early adopters program. And whoever joins our early adopter program can easily avail a flat 40% discount for the next 6 months. Apart from that, there are also other perks. So please do join in right now. And thanks again for watching this video. We look forward to getting you on FlowScale. Thanks.